In the short video, I will show you how you can create a multi-channel AI chatbots in just a few minutes. First, make sure you have the component installed on your account, either from the add-on section or if it's part of your plan. Once you click on AI chatbots from the left, you will see all the active or inactive chatbots. Those that are active have the status turned on. And here you'll see how many conversations triggered and how many users collected. Now, in this context, a user could be an identified contact, meaning the bot collected their emails, or they were previously cookied and the bot recognized them from their session and IP. It could also be an anonymous visitor who we do not know who they are yet until the bot converts them. They could be also Facebook or Instagram or an SMS conversation starter. They could have started the chatbot from any of those other channels as well. The key here is to drive people to eventually fill out a form and end up becoming part of your database. You will also see how many channels this bot is displayed on. And in a second, I'll share how many different places you can launch these multi-channel bots on so easily. Now let's go ahead and create an AI chatbot from scratch. You can see that from the top right. And on this grid, the first thing I usually do is I just give it a title. So let's just do, this is an AI assistant. Now from the left, you have three main tabs. The first tab is the inputs. Here you specify the sources of the data. You might be familiar already with how ChatGPT and other similar technologies function. You need to train it on a data source of your choice. It could be Word documents, PDFs, Excel files, catalogs, but it could also be YouTube video where the transcripts have been automatically generated. You can get your website RSS feeds, and some websites already have that by default. For instance, WordPress have very simple plugins to grab all the content of your website so you can give that to the bot and train the bot on that data. You can specify web pages at a time. Perhaps it's a third-party web page. Maybe you want to analyze your competitor's website and have an internal bot that answers questions based on your competitor's information. I've seen people do that. So the ability for you to create either an RSS feed source, meaning you know exactly what the RSS link is, and you will notice here there's a period to refresh the learning process. Every bot that you create goes through the entire content in a few minutes, analyzes that content, but also it takes characters and tokens to do that. All right, now telling the bot to periodically revisit the same content to pull the latest information is going to provide the bot with the most recent, of course, data, but at the same time, you are using the characters and more characters as you go. With that being said, knowing how often your content is updated on those RSS feeds or web pages, it helps set up your frequency period. Okay, and we made it super flexible that you can do things on a monthly, weekly, or specific days of the week. Very simple. Similarly with web page content, because it's a website that gets updated regularly, if you know the frequency, you can adjust that. And here you'll see the plus sign allowing you to add multiple pages into the bot. The API endpoint option is quite advanced for those developers who are working with products that have an interface API using open API structure or technology. You should know this if you're advanced. If not, just give this to your team and they know exactly what to do with it. But you can feed the system those endpoints and you can make the bot interact with those endpoints as well. For instance, you can program certain things like, let's say in our case, in VBOUT, we made create campaign interact with the create campaign API. Create social media post that also interacts with the create post API. So these are very basic use cases that you can leverage. Some companies can use it in e-commerce context to also connect to e-commerce, pull product information, order information, that kind of stuff. It's a very versatile and advanced feature for those of you who need it. YouTube is quite interesting as well because automatically videos get generated transcripts on YouTube is one of those awesome features they have. So with that, all you need to do is just grab the URLs of those videos so we can learn from them as well. So that means if you're recording videos just like this one, or long form webinars, hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, etc., you can literally just take the transcription and train the model on it. Now, the file input, as I mentioned before, is very simple, straightforward. Choose your data sources. It could be PDFs, Excel files. The formats are listed here, and upload them to the system for learning. That's it. Very basic. I specified my data sources. It could be multiple. I'll just keep 2 for the time being, which are the most popular. And it can be just 1. But you need at least 1 to do this. Now, the second tab on the left is the Actions tab. Right now, we have Generate Chatbot. That is the only action available, but hopefully in the future, we'll have more. For example, you can do follow-on messages on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and SMS once you have initiated the conversation. So now what I'm going to do is link the logic together from the data source to the bot so it understands exactly how to communicate between those two. And now I will double click on the Generate Chatbot. Now you'll notice here there are a few options to configure. The label is just the name for your own reference. So if you're working with your team on this, they know what that reference is for. The bot name and the subheading, that actually is displayed for the customer. So they will see what the bot name is. You can give it something generic. You can call it a bot, whatever you want. Or you can just have it a name of a real person. Now the subheading could be a slight description of what you want the bot to be. Then you have a bot avatar and a chatbot bubble. So to show you that means in the context of things as well, a bot bubble is this one on the bottom right. So as people browsing your website and so on, they will see it. And the avatar is when you begin the conversation with the bot, you see that little avatar. So the difference between two is visible here for your branding. You can control that easily directly from here. Now the accent color, like you see here, is the top heading, the bubble background. And then you give it instructions with default prompts and what happens when the bot does not find a response. So the instructions is almost the character of the bot, how to behave, what to answer. Give it some instructions. You can give it as much instructions as you want so the bot can know exactly how to behave. Now, obviously, there are some defaults, meaning it's going to grab the answers and instruct, but you can be a little bit more specific here. Finally, default prompt is the first thing that shows up when you initiate a conversation, which is this that you see here. And the no answer reply is when the bot does not find a response from the knowledge base. Okay, very simple setup. You would have to do this with any bot that you create anyways. Now you have the form config. The form configuration is allowing your chatbot to capture people's information. And you can do this in multiple ways. One, you can make the form required to continue conversations with the bot, or you can make it skippable. So people can click skip and continue asking questions. You can prompt the user with the form if the bot does not find the answer for the question. You can show it to anonymous and contacts, which anonymous is somebody we don't know who they are. We have no emails or information about them. Whereas contacts are people who I know exactly what their email is. Now here, there are further configuration. For example, you can allow them to ask 3 questions before you prompt with the form. And then what the form style would be. The form style is technically either asking the bot to ask one by one questions. So if I'm collecting first name and email, I can simply ask, what is your first name? What is your email? What is your company name? And so on. Whereas if I do a form embed, it's going to display a regular form inside the bot directly. And the beauty about form embeds is that even though it looks more manual, you can create payment options, products, multi-step forms, conditional fields, so you can leverage the robust form features available on VBOUT. Whereas the prompt might have a little bit more natural kind of communication back and forth, and it's also limited, and you must know this, to only text options. So you don't have the diversity of multi-step form, payments, etc. Now here you choose the form on VBOUT, and as you know, the VBOUT form component is very big. So let's just choose a random one, and you will notice I have so many fields created on the form. You can have as many as you want. You can even have just a couple of them. So let me just choose one that's quite simple. This one has email, first name, and last name, right? So it's very brief, and what the form prompt will be. So we let you really configure a lot of these stuff on this view, so you do not need to worry about the behavior of the bot not meeting your needs. Finally, you choose the output. Where do you want this bot to be displayed? You can display it on your website, which is the default for many. If you're building landing pages on VBOUT, you can launch the bot on a dedicated landing page. And this is where we've seen companies use it to create onboarding bots, specific subscription bots, so you cannot access it unless you fill out page one. So it's almost like a pre-prompt, or just for customer support. You can also launch it on Messenger, Facebook Messenger to be specific, because VBOUT supports connecting to various social media channels in this social media suite. Facebook is one of those. So you can literally launch the bot on your DM, and the bot can behave exactly like it behaves on your site. You can launch it on your Instagram DM as well. If you've connected a Twilio SMS to your account, meaning just a basic phone number, and set it up with VBOUT, very simple connector, you can also have a phone number dedicated to answering people's questions, which is pretty cool. And it could be done directly from the phone. And this way, you have so many different channels for communications. And soon we'll have WhatsApp and Telegram. And we'll keep expanding on those channels in the future. So it's a very simple process, as you can see. I literally can build this in 2-3 minutes, knowing where I have the data sources and they need to be ready, documents and so on, knowing the behavior of the bot and having those assets and configs ready, including the form, and finally the channel that I want to deploy it on. And of course, the channels, all you got to do is just double click them and choose which channels or pages you're managing, and here you can connect it. That's it. Now, the beauty about the bot is even after you launch it, I'm just going to save it and exit. The data starts to get collected. So I can see how many conversations from which channel. So we have all these different channels for now. So you can see I have so many users from my site versus my Instagram versus my Messenger. How many unique visitors, because the same person can ask different questions and trigger different conversations. How many conversations, of course. Who is this person by channel and what kind of questions they ask. So it's really giving you a deep insight into the behavior and the performance of your bot. The beauty about the platform is that it also unifies all the tracking in one place. So that means I can see amongst all these different awesome tracking that VBOUT does, consolidates it into one view. So you're not losing sight of the entire life cycle of your leads, of your customers and prospects, because conversating with the chatbot is part of the marketing journey. And it's also part of your support process, which at the end of the day enhances your marketing. So everything is consolidated here. You can filter things out to see what bot conversations were done and look at those conversations as well. So that's it for now. It's very simple, easy multi-channel chatbot that you can deploy in just a few minutes. I hope you found this video helpful, and I look forward to seeing what you will build using this awesome new feature.